Hello, everybody. Welcome into episode 2 of Full Gong Show. I'm your host, Ben Thomas, as always. And honestly, I'm feeling super under the weather today, so this podcast is probably going to be a lot shorter. I'm only going to recap a few games. I'm only going to go through some news that probably won't take me very long because I want to go back to sleep. I am tired. Not feeling too hot the last few days. Honestly, I'm missing class today because of it. And so, but I still have enough energy to jump on here and give you another episode. So, without further ado, let's just dive right into it. All right. So, where we left off on Sunday with the first episode, if you haven't checked that out, you can go to Anchor FM, look up Full Gong Show, and you can check it out. There's also the Sunday full week recap on my website as well. But if you haven't listened since then, we're gonna recap the games from Sunday night through Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, March 2nd. We're gonna recap the games basically Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And we're gonna start with Sunday. So on Sunday, there was a good chunk of NHL action on Sunday. I won't lie. There was a pretty good chunk. Sorry, I'm messing with my screen here just to make sure everything is set up how I want it and everything. So on Sunday, it was a battle of rivals in the Central Division with the Chicago Blackhawks hiding my fanfare with the Chicago Blackhawks taking on the St. Louis Blues. Now, they made it through the first period 0-0. But then after that, the floodgates just opened against the Hawks, and they lost 4-0. Jordan Binnington recorded another shutout, his first shutout since October 30th, and it was against Chicago, oddly enough. He made 30 saves, and David Perron scored twice in the outing. And even at the end, it was kind of funny. They had a power play late, and their sole setup was to get David Perron his third goal. Nobody else was shooting. It was they were only giving the puck to David Perron. The Blues, though, 32-14-6, 6-0-1 in their past 7 games, one of the hotter teams in the league. And they took down a team that just has been struggling. I mean, the Hawks have lost 8 of their past 9 games at home and being outscored 40-20. Honestly, that's shocking to me, because the United Center literally used to be such a home field advantage that since it's not anymore, that's unheard of to me. It used to be, if you were playing the United Center, I bet you $5 you were going to lose. Scratch that. I bet you $100 you were going to lose, because it was always loud and just crazy and pandemonium, everything. And now it's just not that anymore. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because the product on the ice isn't that great and people don't really want to go or whatever. But overall, though, another just tough game for the Hawks here. They were shut out. They won 8-5 against the Devils and then play the Blues and get shut out. So you just went from scoring 8 goals to getting shut out. Blows my mind. I don't understand. So, just a rough game for the Hawks, a great game for the Blues. And that's just how this rivalry has been going as of late. It's just been all Blues and no Hawks. I hate it, but it's just how it is at this point, I guess. So, moving on to the other game I picked, it is a battle of 2 teams that really don't need to be picked, but just because of I just wanted to talk about one of these teams. It was San Jose taking down the Seattle Kraken by a score of 3-1 on Sunday. Scott Reedy and Jonah Gadjevich, I'm totally butchering that name probably, each scored their first career NHL goals in the game for the Sharks, with James Reimer making 39 saves in the win. It was the Seattle Kraken's 7th straight loss. So this is why I picked it, was because you saw in the expansion draft how well Vegas did. Granted, yes, it was very new. Nobody really knew what was going on. Didn't really understand the rules and everything behind it. Vegas was kind of able to, fleece some teams and this and that. But the Seattle Kraken had a lot of really good talent that they could have selected, and they just totally passed over them. And in my eyes, took a bunch of just like role guys or third or fourth line guys, and we're just like, hey, let's make this a team. And now they're getting just totally blown out. They're in the bottom of the Pacific standings. They've lost 7 straight. Like, I just don't understand when they all sat down and was like, yeah, here we go. Oh, Vladimir Tarasenko's on the board? Nah, we don't want him. Oh, like this guy's on the board. No, we don't want him. It's just like, why wouldn't you want to build a competitive team right away? Like, you're a brand new team in a place like Seattle that was dying for a hockey team and deserves a hockey team and has a very passionate fan base with, the Seahawks and I mean, if they brought the Supersonics back, that would be amazing. But a very passionate fan base. Why wouldn't you want to put a product out there that gets people into that arena, that brand new, beautiful arena that they have there? Why wouldn't you want to put a product that will sell out the arena every night? I don't want to go watch this Kraken team if I was from Seattle. I don't even care if they're brand new. I don't want to go watch them because it's a bunch of nobodies. I mean, besides Yanni Gord and Jordan Eberle and Philip Grubauer, it's really a bunch of nobodies. Like Morgan Geeky, cool. Like, it's just not the same. It's just not the same. Like Vegas, I think did it the right way by just going up. You know what? I think we're just going to go get the best talent available. And if there is a team that doesn't have the best talent available, we're going to then take, a younger guy from that team. And maybe in a year or two, he can become a player for this team. That sounds like a very great way of doing things. Personally, that's how I would have done it if I was a GM in the expansion draft. But in the end, this team has just been struggling, and it has not looked good. Maybe they'll turn it around in a few years, but I'd be disappointed if I'm Seattle fans. I'd be so disappointed in that regime that is there. I don't really like Dave Hackstall as a coach. I don't think he's anything too special. Ron Francis is a great hockey mind, but he really hasn't done anything with this team. So I think it's been a disappointment. I bet a lot of fans would think it's a disappointment, and the product's just not there. And I know it was tough to follow up Vegas. I understand that. But you could have, is what I'm saying. You definitely could have with the guys you could have picked. I think I'm just going to leave it at that point. So moving on to Monday now. We're flying through. The one game I picked, so Monday night, there were 2 7-goal games out of the 3. And the first one I want to talk about is the New Jersey Devils, who just put 5 in the loss against the Hawks, have been scoring like crazy. Put up 7 against Vancouver and won 7-2. Jack Hughes has been electric as of late. Oh, my gosh. He has just been on fire. I forgot what his point streak's at lately. But he had a goal and 2 assists facing off against his brother Quinn. And in this Devils team, if they can get that goaltending, it looks like they can put the puck in the net. Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, that Segovich, whatever his name is, Sharon Govich, that's what I was talking about. His goal streaks to 4 games and point streak to 7 games. I mean, they have a lot of the pieces, and it's just mainly been goaltending that's been holding them back. And so to see a game like this where it's 7-2, that's big. That's big for New Jersey. I think they are slowly putting the pieces together. A lot of it has to do with Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier. They're 2 first overall picks. I think those guys are going to be the huge difference makers coming up here in these next couple of years for this Devils team. They got a lot of good young pieces. They have a lot of good young pieces. It has been intriguing to see. I'm interested to see what kind of moves they make. Maybe they go after a goaltender. Maybe they wait till free agency to go after a said goaltender. Maybe shore up that defense a little bit. Maybe add some depth on the forwards. You can never have too many forwards. So I'm interested to see what they do. But nevertheless, they chased Yaroslav Halak out of his crease. putting 7 on them, obviously. But overall, just great game. So by the Devils now. So then moving on to the other Monday night 7-goal game. The Boston Bruins absolutely demolished the LA Kings 7-0. 7-0. Jake DeBrusk, who still wants out of Boston, had a natural hat trick, 3 goals. And then Jeremy Swayman, who just was named Rookie of the Month, made 34 saves for the Bruins. They're up to 5 straight wins. It's another team that just consistently is always that good and is always up there in the playoff races. And that's the Bruins, man. They're just that good. So DeBrusk completed his hat trick 53 seconds into the second period. Taylor Hall had a goal. Eric Howell scored his 100th career goal. Swayman, like I said, 5-0-1 in his last 6 starts. I mean, yeah, they lost Tuukka Rask. He retired. Great. Actually, not even great. An amazing goaltender. But they look like they got their goalies. They got Swayman. They got Linus Ullmark. I mean, do I really think this Bruins team will make it to the Cup Finals? No. That East is really tough. But nevertheless, this team is very good. I'm interested to see what they do with Jake DeBrusk, though. He does want out. Trade deadline is 3 weeks away. I've heard a lot of rumors about him, especially ones with like Dylan Strome and DeBrusk trade, because Dylan Strome hasn't really been utilized that well in the Hawks. Lately he has, but both guys kind of just need a fresh scenery. And so I'm interested to see what they do with Jake DeBrusk. I'm interested to see what they can get back for Jake DeBrusk, knowing that he wants out, but still a very good player on a decent contract. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. But even if they move him and don't get much back for him, this team is deep. And they're always that good. They're always just that good. So another just demolishing of the Kings. The Kings, I think that was just a bad night for them. They got some good pieces. They're not one of the best teams in the league, but definitely not 7-0 blowout, especially at home. That's what was really that's what was really bad, was it was at home at the Crypto.com arena, which I think is the stupidest name in the world. So, nevertheless, big win by the Bees. So now moving on to Tuesday, the Lightning. Real quick about them. They beat Ottawa 5-2 in their first game since the Stadium Series. They got their 5th straight win, and basically they just picked up right where they left off. Kucherov had a goal and assist. Vasilevsky made 25 saves. They fell behind 2-0 in the first and stormed back for a win. This team is just that good. I mean, there's not much I can say about Tampa Bay that you guys already don't know. They are just that good, like just weapon after weapon after weapon. So not much about that. Braden Point had a goal and 3 assists. A goal and 3 assists, and he has now 11 points in his 7-game point streak. So Stamkos also scored in the game for his 5th straight game. He passed John Beliveau and Ray Bourque for 30th on the NHL power play goals list with 174. I think Ovechkin still leads that because he only scores on the power play. But yeah, that's basically it on that one. I just wanted to go through that because the Lightning just came off their Stadium Series win and just picked up right where they left off. So next game, another team that I've talked about a lot in the first episode and now on this episode, the Colorado Avalanche. They beat the New York Islanders 5-3. Devon Toews, playing his former team, had a goal and 2 assists in the Avalanche's 4th straight victory. But what's big about this is they are the first team to win 40 games this season. And I think it was they're one of 4 or 5 teams that have won 40 games in their first 40 wins out of their first 52. Never mind. Okay, I found the stat. Let me redo that. So the Avalanche needed 54 games to reach 40 wins. only the Detroit Red Wings in 2007, 2008, and 1995-96. They're matching both those teams for the second fewest in NHL history behind the Washington Capitals, who in 2015-2016 got to 40 wins in 53 games. So, needless to say, I think the Red Wings won a cup both those years, and I think the Capitals won their cup that year. Is that foreshadowing the Colorado Avalanche winning the cup? I don't know. But if I had to pick a team that I think would win the cup right now, it would probably be Colorado. Just the amount of – I've talked about it last episode. The amount of depth they have, both forwards and defense. Goaltending is a little shaky, but they're so good. Their game plan and their scheme is so good defensively. They really don't need a great goaltender. So that is that. They're 40-10-4. And they're 4 in a row, and 6 of their past 7 games they've won. I mean, this team is just all cylinders go. I think they're probably going to win President's Trophy. Unless they have a huge fallout or they lose a bunch of players to injuries, I think they're going to be winning the President's Trophy. So, last final game we'll talk about is from Tuesday night. The Montreal Canadiens, 5-game winning streak, Gongshow by the Winnipeg Jets. As Winnipeg beat Montreal 8-4. Now for Montreal, Josh Anderson did score a hat trick, and for Winnipeg, Mark Scheifele had 2 goals and an assist. It was the first matchup since the playoffs when Montreal made it to the Cup Finals, where Mark Scheifele was suspended for the entire playoff series for a bad hit on Jake Evans, and it seemed like Scheifele just didn't even care about that. He had 2 goals and assists. Hellebuck made 31 saves. Winnipeg had lost 4 of their last 5, so they really needed this win. Kyle Connor had 3 assists. Pierre-Luc Dubois had a goal and 2 assists. So overall, Winnipeg's power play, that was a difference maker. 4 for 6 on the power play. I mean, if you're giving up 4 power play goals, yeah, you're probably going to lose. So Yevgeny Svechnikov scored another goal in his 3rd straight game. The Jets were leading 4-0 after the first. Had 2 goals in the span of 36 seconds. I mean, just all out. It was all Winnipeg. Montreal obviously tried to make a comeback, and they did actually in the second period. Anderson had his hat trick. Arturi Lehkonen had a goal. They tied it in the second period, 4-4, and then Winnipeg was just like, nah, okay, you had your fun. Now we're just going to take it and run with it. So the Jets were the first team in NHL history to relinquish a lead of 4 goals before going on to win by 4 goals. That's just a fun stat, I guess. I don't know. I'm looking at the game notes here. So, yeah, kind of interesting. And congrats to Blake Wheeler, played in his 800th game with the Jets/Atlanta Thrashers. And then is only the second player to do so, joining Brian Little, who's at 843. I think Wheeler might pass him. He's got a few years under his belt still. So Brian Little had a bunch of injuries and stuff like that late in his career. So yeah, those were all the games from Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Obviously not all the games, but only the games I really wanted to discuss and talk about. So now moving on to just NHL news in general. One of the big news that came out yesterday was the Chicago Blackhawks. I know I talk about the Hawks a lot. Sorry. Plan to keep Kyle Davidson and make it official. He was the interim GM. Now he is the full-time GM. Honestly, I would have preferred to go with Matthew Darche from the Tampa Bay Lightning, but this was like the second best option. He's been in the organization for 13 years, started out as an intern, worked his way up, was a part of the front office with the 2013 and 15 Cup championship teams. He's seen a lot. He's been a part of a lot. So he kind of knows what he's doing. He's only 33. Let's put it like that. It's 33. Kane and Taves are the same age as him, and Fleury is younger than him, or older than him, excuse me. So, I mean, I'm interested to see what he does. He does have a very important trade deadline 3 weeks away from now. I did like that he said that Taves and Kane will know what's going on. Those two, you have to keep them in the loop on everything. You have to get their insight on everything because they're that important to the organization. But he did say, we're in a rebuild. No more of this retooling that Stan Bowman always talked about. It is a rebuild. And he kind of talked about 3 to 5 years. I'm hoping it's like 2 to 3 years personally as a fan, but I think it's what's best. They really need to replenish that farm system. They got some good pieces. They just really need to learn how to develop them. But yeah, so I'm interested to see where this goes. I really think there are going to be a lot of pieces moved from the Hawks. DeHaan for sure. Probably Ryan Carpenter's another name. Kubalik's another name that'll be out the door. But if they keep DeBrincat, Tays, Kane, Seth Jones, Dylan Strom, and Brandon Hagel, I'll be happy with it. But other than that, everybody else can kind of go. I don't really mind that. So yeah, but that was the news. They are keeping the official title. They're making it an official title of general manager. So the Hawks have their new GM, and he'll be tasked with building that roster and getting a new head coach and everything like that. So then some other news. This was actually big-time news. With obviously with the war going on, I talked about it last episode too, the war going on in Ukraine with Russia. CCM, who has Alexander Ovechkin and a bunch of other Russian athletes, they will not be using them in their marketing strategies for the time being due to what's going on. They did say, like, it has nothing to do with OV, has nothing to do with any of these guys. Just we stand with Ukraine, and we felt like it wouldn't be right to market these Russian athletes while, everything's going on. I get it. I understand it. I don't think OV is really going to be taken back by it by any means, but I totally see where they're coming from. So, but that was that. And then NHL 22 just announced that Russia and Belarus IIHF teams will be taken out of the game due to this stuff. So yeah, just a bunch, and that goes with a bunch of other companies and products and everything around the world just completely eliminating Russia out of it, which makes sense. There was no need for Russia to invade. So I kind of am liking what everybody's doing and supporting Ukraine. So I understand it. Do I believe these teams will come back in NHL 22 and then Ovechkin will be marketed by CCM? Of course. Of course. You cannot not market Alexander Ovechkin. He's the biggest star in the NHL. So it'll all come back once everything, once the war hopefully ends soon. But for now, they're not going to be marketing them, and they will be taking out teams in the NHL 22 game. So it was super interesting. All right, as I'm close to wrapping up the show here. Like I said, super short, really not long. This will be about 30 minutes. Like I said, I'm just not feeling too great. Looking ahead, a big-time matchup on Thursday as Pittsburgh plays Tampa, two top teams in the East. See if Tampa can keep rolling here. And then another one is Duncan Keith. Chicago runs on Duncan, as that was one of the best sayings ever. He makes his return to Chicago on Thursday. A 3-time Stanley Cup champion, a 2-time Norris Trophy winner, Conn Smythe winner in the 2015 finals. Will have his jersey retired by the Hawks. Hall of Famer. He'll make his return with Edmonton and Connor McAcheezus. But it'll be bittersweet to see him on the other side. It's also Nicholas Hjalmarsson, a legacy night, so it'll be kind of funny to see. Like, Hjalmarsson will be back in a suit, but Keith will be back with an Edmonton Oilers jersey on. So, but nevertheless, kind of a cool matchup. So, I'm definitely going to be tuning in to watch it. I know a bunch of other Chicago fans will. Even though the product's not great, they definitely want to see Duncan Keith. So, yeah, that's that for this show. Like I said, sorry it's super short. Sorry I'm kind of just like flying through everything out of it. Like I said, I'm just not feeling great, but I wanted to get another episode out for everybody. So remember to go to my website, benthomasTV.godaddysites.com for the full Gongshow recap from Sunday. Go to Anchor FM, look up full Gongshow for the podcast episodes, and then Ben Thomas TV on YouTube for the visual. If you want to see me look like a freaking schmuck and look sick and you want to watch that, then tune in for that on YouTube. But other than that, a new episode will come out on Sunday. It'll probably be longer. Hopefully I'm feeling a lot better. Might just be a little hungover because I have a wedding on Saturday. So other than that, I hope everybody has had a good week so far. I hope you have a great rest of your week. And I will talk to y'all again, or see y'all again if you're watching on YouTube, on Sunday. Peace, everybody.